think we in the neighborhood for? Standing at the corner store with a pocket full of dough. I be damned if a nigga wipe a hood, hoe. Learned that from UGK, back a pocket full of stuff. Heard somebody said I wasn't poppin'. Well, they be misinformed, I got 100K in my pocket. I be outside, tone carbon with young niggas shooting like hard. Nigga, beg your pardon. But I'm on say, be careful with your body, put that on ice. I'm not gon' tweet, I'm not gon' type. Whatever you say, okay, alright. You pick your.
You've been at this for a long while now, and I see that sometimes when rappers age, they tend to change their name. Like Lil Bow Wow just went to Bow Wow, and now it's Shad Moss. You turned 40 this year. Would you ever consider changing your name, like maybe from T.I. to maybe Mr. Harris or Clifford? Have you thought about it?
I mean, I think that I'm already all of those things. I'm already, like, it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm in music, I'm probably going to always be T.I. formally on my packaging or presentation of music. If I'm in film, it's going to be Tip Harris or T.I. Harris. Yeah. And at the bank, I'm always be Clifford Harris. They don't, you know what I'm saying? It don't matter. You dig? So I think it depends on the setting. You know what I mean? The setting, the environment where my name is being used, that's going to determine and dictate, you know, how people address me.
Yeah. Love that, man. Now, you are actually the person who introduced trap music to the South African listeners. If I had to, you know, just keep it 100. This is before we even heard the likes of Travis Scott, Young Thug, Lil Baby. I can go on and on. On your end, what do you describe trap music as? And do you believe that the description of trap has changed from how you guys started the sound to how it's sounding like right now?
Trap music, by definition, is philosophies set to music that detail the lives, lessons, and experiences of drug dealers. You know what I mean? And I feel like, for the most part, even today, that's exactly what it is. Whether it's like a celebration of, hey man, we started here, we made it out, or whether it's reflection. Like, man, this is what I came from. This is, you know what I'm saying, this is how it was for me, and this is what I had to overcome in order to make it to where I am right now. I think it's informational, informative, and also inspirational.
Yeah. Okay.
You're at a level now where people consider and call you an OG, legend, icon status. Do you think this honor that has been bestowed on you makes you approach music and business differently?
Nah, it just make me kind of more conscious and aware of how I move, you know what I'm saying? Kind of try to lead by example for the most part. And I mean, it makes me appreciate all of the experiences, all of the lessons that came from the experiences that I endured or evolved from. And how it makes me kind of like think back to things I've gone through and try to depict how I could use that to benefit the next generation, to keep them from bumping their head on the same wall that I happened to bump my head on. So that's, you know, so that's but how I approach music. It's always just go in here and say how I feel, always.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Now, like with experience that spans over to now 2 decades that you've been doing this, you know, like that's from what we know. I'm sure probably it started at a younger age. Would you say like you've got to a point maybe where it's easier or harder to make music? Where you at right now with the process of making music? I know you got something out.
Yeah, I don't see it as easier or harder. I feel like it's always been about transferring energy. You dig? So the things that I'm going through, conversations I'm having, things I observe others go through, things I observe happening in the world, they kind of produce a certain energy, a perspective, an opinion, or whatever. that vibe is going to be released whenever I hear some music that I feel like they kind of conjures that spirit up. And I go in the booth and then I share that energy with the rest of the people who decide to listen to it. When that energy is shared with them, it creates an energy within them that they then share back with me when I come and perform this time. So it's just it's a transference of energy back and forth. It's always been that way, and I think that's the way it'll always be.
Something else that you've been putting out there, and we're going to call it energy, or I don't know if I want to say it's something that you're trying to manifest, is you and 50 Cent in a Verzuz battle. Any progress on that? Do you think you've won already? Because 50's a troll.
I ain't even really tripping by winning or losing, bro. I just think that I really do just feel like our personalities, our catalogs, and like they align. Yeah. It's just, it's just how I feel. It's just what I think. And I felt that, he was the best or the most appropriate opponent for me in a Verzuz. And also I got a lot of respect for 50 and like his movement and like the music that how much success he's had, given how few albums he's released. You know what I'm saying? There ain't many people that done sold that many records and had that level of success within their first few albums. And that has had the staying power to remain relevant. So I have a lot of respect for that. And you must have respect for anybody who you kind of line yourself up against, right? Because you wouldn't line yourself up with nobody that you didn't have respect for. You dig? So I mean, shit, I think that the people can kind of, we can all have our own Verzuz battles. You can choose your own 50 Cent records, 20 of them. You can choose your own TIP records, 20 of them. Play them back and forth, and then you have your opinion of which one you think came out on top. You don't need us to show up a certain time in a certain place to do that. That could happen anyway. But I just think it's always good, man, when you can. How can you say? Be yourself. When you can be yourself around somebody without having to worry about them being offended or intimidated by your energy.
If not 50, who else would you take on?
I don't think I need to. I ain't calling. I mean, somebody have to call me at this point. I didn't already call somebody. I don't have to choose nobody else. Somebody else have to call me at. You call me, I'm coming. I ain't finna. I'm not gonna pull a 50. You call me, I'm on the way.
Yeah, because the catalog is heavy, man. Like, the catalog is heavy. It's just a matter of picking the records that will definitely smack, or you think will be able to stand strong if it's 20 of them. But something that's also come up, because you decided to share it on one of your records with the new album, is a situation that supposedly happened in 2010 with Drizzy Drake. Apparently you peed on the whole. What's the story?
No. I didn't say that. No, I did not say that.
No. Like, how the tabloids are painting it is as if you deliberately.
The tabloids aren't rooted in truth. They're rooted in controversy and sensationalism. So I mean, what I said, came from a very honest and genuine place. It wasn't even meant to be, opposing. It wasn't. I wasn't doing it, in any level of disrespect. I was just speaking the truth because it's a moment that I shared with a very near dear friend who was like a brother to me, who's no longer here with us. And that was a moment that I was really I was upset with him. You know what I'm saying? We were having an event, and my partner had been in prison for the past 13 years, and he got a new trial and came home, and we was out celebrating him being home, and also I was about to release Takers. So I did a private screening for Takers, and Drake, you know what I'm saying, expressed interest in coming. He said he wanted to see the movie. I said, absolutely no problem. So, you know what I'm saying, we sitting down watching the movie, and halfway through the movie, there was a mishap in the theater. And, you know, I was upset with my partner. You know, I'm like, man, what's up, bro?
Yeah.
You know, and that was a moment that we shared, and it wasn't, and saying that it wasn't about trying to dish nobody. I think that's the picture this, you know, that they're attempting to paint, but that wasn't my intention. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah. Now, you've just released your 11th studio album, and abbreviated, it's called Libra, and in full, it's The Legend is Back Running Atlanta. Why did you particularly choose that name? Is there anything significant behind it? Because in essence, you're known as the man that runs Atlanta. When you speak, people actually listen. What is the significance behind that name? And you being a Libra yourself.
Yeah, I think that's the significance. Me being a Libra, and this album being released in Libra season, and also this being my 40th trip around the sun. I think all of those things kind of align themselves and associate with one another. And that's kind of what led to the album title being what it is.
You know, when we spoke earlier about the writing of music, you called it transferring of energy. And I'm sure there's certain things probably that you still think about. You're like, should I share this? Should I not share this about my life? Is there any part of your life with this project, Libra, that was hard for you to share, or it was more exciting because people will possibly be hearing about it for the first time? Is there anything that we definitely probably missed while listening to this project?
I mean, to be honest with you, it was kind of the things that were at the forefront of my consciousness. Those are the things that tended to make their way onto the album. The most difficult song I have to say that I did was "We Did It Big," because, you know, it's a song that's about two of my best friends that are no longer here with us no more. You know what I mean? And going back to those times that I shared in both of those verses about both of my partners, you know, it was a dark place. You know what I'm saying? It was a tough moment. But I knew that it had to be done to memorialize them, you know what I'm saying? To kind of make sure that I did them a proper service thing. You know what I'm saying? All of the pain was worth it.
If anything, it's a gift of love, I guess.
Yeah, that's how I see it.
Yeah, and I think we also see your heart with this particular album because your children are involved in it. And this is not the first time that you've worked with family. I mean, you guys had a successful reality TV show, The Family Hustle. And, you know, there's always reservations when it comes to working with family or doing business with family. What lessons have you learned and shared with regards to T.I. and the family business?
Well, working with family is difficult. However, when it's your children and you can be proud of the work that they've done, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's a sweet spot. That's an incredible experience as a father, you know, to be able to rap with my son on a song that my other son produced, or, you know, to be able to produce music or build a record around my daughter and her spoken word, and actually be proud of the work that they're doing. Like, if I actually think it's dope, if I actually can say, man, I really like this, and that comes from my child, that's a proud moment. You know, that's a proud moment as a parent.
Yeah.
And it's pretty dope, you know, just as a musician, as an artist, to be associated or on the same song in collaboration with my children. You know, I can't speak enough of it. I'm extremely proud about it.
Is there any one of your kids that's giving you a run for your money? Is there anyone coming for the throne?
All of them are, to be honest with you. I mean, Damani is probably the closest. But King, he has a different energy. He's not far behind. He has a different energy. He just has to let his skill set catch up with his vibe and his energy. And then, you know what I'm saying, he gonna give y'all a different version of
Before we let you go, Tip, I think you're one of those people who's very vocal when it comes to politics, you know, like from the Gucci situation to Trump. I can go on and on and on. You never shy away from all these political conversations. You know, is politics something you could venture to in the future?
No.
And also, what are your thoughts about Trump?
No.
Oh, no Kanye.
No.
No Kanye.
No.
Okay.
Nah. I have no interest or intention in being in politics. That ain't for me. And I'm in the for-profit business, so I don't need anything to inhibit or to deter or to prohibit me from doing legitimate business as I deem it appropriate. You know what I'm saying? So politics is not for me. Now, I would love to use my influence and resources to support the people who I feel have the most genuine intentions and help the communities that need the most attention. I think that's me. You know, to speak my mind and do business, to put me in a position to earn myself an opportunity to help those who need the most help, and to empower those who could be put in position to give people the most help. That's what I intend on doing. I don't want to be the president, the mayor, the governor, the senator. I don't want to be none of that. I don't want to be any of that. I just want to be Tip, continue to do good business, and continue to represent people that need to be represented on the platform that I've been blessed to have.
Yeah.
And what's Tip's take on Trump?
So between Trump and Kanye?
I mean, Kanye, that's my, wait a minute. First of all, Kanye is my brother still.
Yeah.
Kanye is my brother still. I disagree emphatically with tons of his statements, positions. However, I respect him as a black man who's made significant contributions to the culture. I think he has a brilliant mind. I think he can be misunderstood even by himself. He misunderstands himself. But I also feel like he kind of harmless. I don't think he means any harm to anyone. He just kind of trapped in his own head, and he sometimes become a victim of his own emotions. But I ain't got I don't feel about him the way I feel about Trump. You dig what I'm saying? I can't, I ain't gonna misrepresent my thoughts or my feelings. Like, I just think Trump is incredibly divisive. I think he's incredibly divisive. I think he lacks a certain level of maturity and intellect and that it takes, and compassion. Yeah. And selflessness that it takes to be in positions of leadership. You know what I mean? To be in a position of leadership, you got to think about people besides just you. People besides just people who live like or look like you. And if you can't do that, then you can't lead. You really just kind of a divisive tool being used to separate and antagonize an already bad situation. You know what I mean? Like, racism is horrible. It's a disease. You know what I mean? And to take that and stir the pot, knowing the temperature here, I feel like that's, that's incredibly selfish. It's incredibly immature. And I think that the karma that comes from it is going to speak for itself whenever that happens. But one thing about it that gives me optimism, when I look back historically, just turning the pages of civilization, just kind of going back to look at different parts of society, different years, different eras where things could have been similar. Whether you go back to the Egyptians, whether you go back to the Romans, whether you go back to the Mayans, any of them. Anyone who fought against change, they lost. Anyone who was fighting to try to keep it, like if you just think about back in Egypt, the story of Pharaoh and Moses and so on and so forth. The Pharaoh was just reluctant and adamant about, he was reluctant to change and adamant about keeping things the same.
Yeah.
Moses came and said, hey man, it's over with. It's time to switch up. The man upstairs said, let my people go. So, you know what I mean? You're gonna have to let it go, bro. And Pharaoh, because, you know, drunk with power, you know, blinded by ego, his position was, I ain't letting shit go. You got me messed up. I'm gonna keep it just like this. I like it like this. And, you know, inevitably, that was his downfall. Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? He went from the most powerful to the least powerful just because he became a victim of his own emotion. You know what I mean? So if you look back at, even like with the Romans, very similar. So any group of people, anytime people were trying to fight against change, they lost. The universe will have its way. The universe is in constant evolution. So if you feel like the only way you can be tall is to keep everyone else on their knees, then you're just a small person. And eventually the universe is going to evolve to a place where all of that will be exposed and removed. So all we got to do is keep showing up with more faith than fear.
100%.
Yeah. I think after this conversation, the name that keeps ringing off in my head. So if I ever meet you in SA, I'll call you Umlungisi.
I was going to say Mungameli.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'll call you Umlungisi. So Umlungisi stems from someone who's vocal, someone who speaks their mind, with the hopes of bringing change, you know, with their opinions. And you never looking out for people to like you. You like me, you don't like me. Oksala, I speak my mind.
Yes. I don't care.
Mungameli. Mungameli is the leader. You're in the forefront. Like, we trust you to lead us. Mungameli, the boss.
Mungameli. I can remember that one easier. Mungameli.
Yeah.
It texts me both of them, so I'll text me both of them. I mean, put Mungameli and Mlugisi.
Yes.
Just Lu, Ngisi.
Ngisi. Mlungisi.
Yes!
Okay.
That's your name.
Mlungisi. And now tell me the Mangamili.
Mungameli.
Mungamili.
Yes.
Mungamili and Mlungisi.
Yes.
Yes, there you go.
So when you see in the street, you're like, Etam Lu, Etam Mongame.
No, that's you.
That's you.
That's fine. Hey, thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Have a good
All
day.
right,
Thank you.